Hello, children, adults, people, crossword competitors. How are you doing this morning? I was sitting here trying to read Ronald's comment in Spanish. All I got was work and more and want and they and speak. That's what I got. Work and they want speak. That's all I got. So I guess I'll go back to the crossword while we're waiting for Artemis. Let's see what we got. 1 o'clock cross. Suffixes for believers. See, I thought that was ites. Like Israelites or whatever, but maybe it's IANS, like Christians. But let's see. No, that didn't work either. Let's see. Okay, 5 across. 1947 literature nobelist Andre. No idea. 15 across. Sleepless nights at times. Again, no idea. And those big ones that say after 40 across, all those medical ones, I have no idea what those are. Okay, let's see. 21 across, ending in Caesar, 3 letters. I don't know. Because Hail Caesar would be 4 letters. Okay. 25 across, name in bats. I can't even think of what that clue means. What is name in bats? One might set a precedent. I think that one is ruling. Now that Ronald helped with some of those downs. There we go.
Hello?
Okay.
Can the world hear me?
Of course the world can hear you.
I just want to make sure.
Oh, look at you trying to be all fancy.
I have a hat, but no eyebrows.
Well, you never have eyebrows. What else is new?
I usually have some sort of eyebrows. I usually have my little bitty eyebrows. But even then, I didn't draw those on today. So I'm probably going to be drawing on eyebrows while we're doing the stream today. So that I can get ready to leave.
You're such a weirdo.
Does anyone still wear a hat? What do you mean?
He's quoting a song. Or who said that? Who
What?
said that? Ronald. Yes.
Ronald said that. What song is that?
Here's to the ladies who lunch.
Oh, that song. Yes.
Laugh.
I know that song primarily from Camp.
I knew that's
with
what you were
Anna
going to say.
Kendrick.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
All right, you folks can continue to crossword in the background. But see my eyebrows that are like non-existent today? I usually like draw them on, and so I've got the little bitty ones, but I didn't draw them on today because I just cleaned them off because I didn't wipe them off very well yesterday. So they don't exist.
You've seen Camped. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You are our people, Ronald.
Ronald is a theater child.
I know, but still, a lot of people
Camp is very obscure.
A lot of people don't know that movie.
Which is wild considering Anna Kendrick was in it. You would think with her rise to popularity with Pitch Perfect, people would have, but no.
But that's not exactly an easy movie to hunt down. I mean, the last time I watched it was when we were still getting discs on
DVDs from Netflix. Yes.
I don't even think they streamed that movie.
They do, because I rewatched it at some point, and it's on Spoofy. They have the songs. They have the soundtrack on Spoofy.
Mm.
You need to watch it, Ari. Her name's always missing, Junie. It's been a running thing for the last month or so.
My name is not missing. My name is there.
It's there for you. Is the name in the room with us now?
The name is in the room with us now. It really is. It
Also,
really
while
is.
you're adjusting your name to make sure that it is visible to the people, look at my outfit today. I didn't realize how well my hat matches my cute little jumpsuit. Where am I? Where's the camera? Here
There
I
you
am.
go. Now, look at you.
I
Look
feel
at you
so
being
cute
all
today.
fancy.
Yes.
How many of these jumpsuits have you bought? Like 5?
I fully only have 2. I just keep re-wearing them because I've got this one. I have the floral one that I
Mm-hmm.
wore before that I think I sent a picture of in the Discord. Which y'all be prepared because I'm just gonna keep sending outfit of the day is taking pictures in that cute little mirror at work is very fun. But I've got this one. I've got the floral one. I have the red one that you gave me, the like bright red one that you gave me,
I
and
did not
then
give you a red one. I gave you a black one with white stripes.
yeah, you gave me the black one with white stripes. You gave me a solid black one because that's the halter one that I wear, but I can't wear that one at work because it's got a slit almost up to my thigh. So I do not wear that one at work.
I do not
Um,
remember that which you speak of.
you are you talking about the black one or the red one? You fully don't remember either
I
of
don't
these?
remember the red one or the black halter one.
I've worn the black one because I wore the black one on the cruise because my papa had to fix a button on the back of my neck. Do you remember I was sitting in your room while he was fixing a button on the back of my neck because one of the buttons popped off?
Do not remember this.
Okay. I think I've got the red one in the closet also. I'm just gonna be showing stuff off today. We'll do an intro in a minute. This is an intro in the middle of the episode kind of episode. I cleaned my room.
Yay.
See? You can see my floor.
Yay.
Look at that.
Yay.
I cleaned. And what you can't see is that there was a mess under the table that you guys are on, and I cleaned that too. Also, I changed Colette's wig.
Oh my goodness. I don't think that suits Colette.
It looks better in person. It looks better up close than it does from back there.
Okay. I'm used to the big.
The big hair, yeah.
Yeah. Banda.
Ronald says my outfit's giving the Eagles witchy woman.
Do you know that song?
I've heard it. I feel like I've heard it. It
And
feels
I
familiar.
can't get over how long your hair is.
This is why I kept repeatedly telling you when you're like, don't shave it. Don't shave it. Because this is a manageable amount of hair. This is my mohawk, which as we know goes like here. This is my mohawk. It's straightened and I just pulled it down. But this is why I kept saying I have too much hair. Because this looks like a full head of hair. This feels like a full head of hair. Imagine this with all of that as well.
But appreciate it now because when you get old like me and your hair starts to thin.
I'm just going to be wearing wigs. I'm going to look exactly like this, but with wigs. Also, it didn't occur to me. I'm trying to tuck my hair behind my ear, but trying to do it in the camera is making me struggle. It occurred to me, and then we need to. Ronald says Colette's serving. Also, Ronald says Colette is serving today. It occurred to me while I was at work yesterday because I had my hair in let's take this off. I had my hair like there was a headband, and then I had these two little pieces kind of pushed back and it was like a little bang thing.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me, I look like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. I have Daphne's orange hair. I'm gonna see if I can fix the little bang thing I was trying to do. Yes.
See, now you're making me want to straighten my hair, and I haven't straightened my hair in a good 15 years.
It was an endeavor. It took me from wash to this was 4 hours, which is why my hair is still like this because I'm not about to wash it out anytime soon. And by not about to wash it out anytime soon, I mean I'm probably gonna wash it this weekend because it's been a while. That's better.
Yes, it looks cute like that.
That's what I was trying to do from the beginning. I had to look away from the camera and just kind of feel it because looking in the camera, my hands weren't doing what I wanted them to do. No, this way. There we go. Okay, now let's do the intro. I was going to say I had too much coffee, but I have not actually. I've had less coffee than normal. Oh, I need to turn on the right music too.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday morning edition of the Conversation Chair. This is the show where we talk about everything and nothing but yarn and crafts first, because that's what our subscribers come here for. We are your audio ambiance, your background sound. We are here to keep you company while you are washing dishes, while you're doing laundry, while you're chasing after rugrats. And if you need someone to accompany you because you are tempted to sell your cat to a town that is overrun with rats and has never seen a cat, then we'll be with you.
Is that from your real life?
That is not from my real life. That is from somebody's real life, though, because that is from the very popular British panto called Dick Whittington and His Cat, which is based on a folk tale about a real person called Dick Whittington.
We're going to have to circle back because there were a lot of words that we need to address there. First of all, Dick Whittington, hilarious name, no notes. British panto?
Panto, short for pantomime, which is what they call their little plays that they do at Christmas.
Okay. We're caught up now.
I mean, they do them sometimes, other times, but they're real popular at Christmas.
We're caught up now. Also, Ari is out here throwing shade in the chat, talking mainly about nothing.
I see him, and but he's not wrong. We talk
about things.
But it's not like we're talking about the news or that we have a specific.
If you want to hear about the news, go to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and watch Josh Johnson's specials. If you want to hear about
Philip DeFranco,
go to Philip DeFranco and what is it? What's new today? What's the other one that you showed me? I just watched it yesterday and fully forgot.
Have I got news for you?
Yeah, Have I Got News for You? I just watched it yesterday. Go to them if you want to hear about literally everything else. That's us. We're everything but the news. That should be our tagline. Everything but the news.
We're everything but the news. Okay.
So, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking coffee, regular instant coffee, Nescafe with hazelnut creamer. I don't think it's hitting my stomach very well.
Ooh.
I think I will be laying down as soon as we get done with this. I'm avoiding the urge. My instinct is to sit here like this because that's more comfortable, but I'm trying to sit up like a professional.
We could just do the stream right here today.
I'm trying to sit up like a professional.
I am drinking my Taste of Italy coffee that Wayne got from TJ Maxx out of my Moomin. What?
Lovely.
It's Moomin and Snark Maiden. And then they're having a cute little sit, a cute little date. And then they have a little hug.
Lovely.
And I found that this size mug it's a very tiny mug. It's not as big as my normal one. It's a very tiny mug, but this is the perfect size for me to drink coffee because I will get closer to the bottom of the cup than when I'm drinking. Like if I'm drinking out of my big mug, I'll usually have this much coffee left in my big mug. Like almost the full amount of this mug. So if I drink this one,
you come by, honestly, your father leaves half-finished cups as he goes to work.
Yep.
So you come by, honestly. I drink all of my coffee. It may take me a long time to go through other beverages, but I drink. It's very rare that I leave a half-finished cup of coffee. I drink all of my coffee, but it's my one coffee of the day.
My thing is, I'm not going to drink it once it gets cold. I was just telling Wayne, as soon as probably when we get paid next week, I am going to get one of those USB mug warmers that I can sit on the table and I can just sit my cup on it because I will not drink it if it gets cold, but I want to finish it. And so I have to either get up out of my newly established book nook in the corner of my living room. I have to get up out of my comfy little book nook and put it in the microwave, or like top it off with some more coffee. And if I top it off, then I gotta add more sugar, more creamer. Because that's what I did today. Yesterday, I just put it in the microwave and finished it. Today, I just topped it off with some more coffee from the pot because I still had the pot running. And I forgot to put more creamer and sugar in it, so it's not as good as the original sip.
Well, looking at our list over here, what you want to tell us about the markets?
Yes. So I was thinking about it, and I talked it over with Wayne as well. Sorry, I'm pulling up the thing as well. I remembered what I wanted to talk about. I was thinking about it, and I think what I'm going to do, and I need to talk to Junie later today as well. I think what I'm going to do this season, because especially I think coming out of the hurricane and going to a new job and everything kind of falling right at the wrong time frame. Ari's asking, can we see the product of cleaning the office? Hang on. What I'm going to do is I will add Artemis the second cam, and I'll just walk around with my phone, and then you can see a lot better. So let me copy this and put it into the Google Keep so that I can find it. But I just felt so unprepared going into market this season. Like last Wednesday, I vended, and I was saying to my friend, the market manager, I was like, yeah, I don't have very much stuff for today. And she, like, we had a little like square table. The only way I know how to describe it is it's the same size as my Honda table, but you don't know what that is either. Because my Honda has a table in the back. Like if you fully open up the trunk and then like take everything out, the bottom floor comes out and there's a table in there. So fun thing if you have a Honda CRV. But it's just a little square table. It's not nearly the size of the 6-foot table that I had when I was with you. It was about half the size. So it's like a 4 foot by 4 foot maybe, or like 3.5 foot by 3.5 foot, like square table. And it was completely covered with everything. And she's like, I thought you said you didn't have very much stuff today. And I was like, I usually, when I feel like I have enough stuff, I have enough stuff to fill 2 6-foot tables. That is when I feel like I have enough stuff. And so coming to market and having just that tiny table, I felt like I didn't have enough stuff. I sold one thing that day. I made, do we remember the kitty squid that I made from Coraline, where it was the teal squid? It had the one big like button, like proper button eye, not a safety eye, but a proper button eye, and the 2 little like ears sticking up.
Vaguely.
I showed it on a stream like weeks and weeks ago, because I made it weeks and weeks ago because I haven't been making these stuffies recently. But I sold that because the mother came and bought that for her little toddler. That's the only thing I sold that day. And I'm thinking about going forward to not Google Slides. Google Slides and Google Keep need to not be the same color. They need to change that. But I was thinking going forward, like I had talked to Junie briefly, we talked at length about on First Fridays, her coming down to Mars Hill and me helping her set up a table with my stuff, and then I'll be up the hill doing the face paint for free, and then she can be down the hill doing the vending, like selling my crochet stuff as well. But I just feel, 1, I feel like I don't have nearly enough stuff. 2, I feel like with the job working at Men's Warehouse, I feel like I don't have right now the time to keep up with stuff the way that I was previously when I was working at Party City, when I was working at all of these other places. Like not me forgetting every job I've ever worked. I feel like I don't have enough time to keep up with it because I have always been playing catch up anyway. Like I would go to one market, get close to selling out, and then I'm playing catch up to do another market in like 2 weeks. And I don't have the time or energy to do that right now. And so what I think I'm going to do, I did talk to Junie about doing market this Friday. So I'm going to bring the bit of stuff that I have this Friday and go to First Friday, have her come and vend. And Junie, we can read, if you're not, like, if you're busy, we can re-talk about this later. But what I think I'm going to do is have her come and vend my stuff this Friday. And then I am not going to be selling any crochet stuff at all this season. I think what I'm going to do is go to like markets that have invited me previously for like face paint and henna. I'm going to go
Mm-hmm.
to those markets just so I can keep that relationship up so they don't try to find anybody else. And I can go
Mm-hmm.
and do the face paint and henna. Are you having a hot flash? Are you going to make it? Is it hitting you?
Continue talking.
You can lean forward. The people won't care. But what I'm going to do is go to any markets where I was doing face paint and henna. I will go and just do the face paint and henna, not bring any crochet stuff. And I'm going to use this season and this year to build up stock. And hopefully, as long as I like keep in mind that I need to be doing this and focus on it, I can build up stock this year. And then next year, I'll have enough stock that I won't feel like I'm playing catch up all the time. So even if I do a really good market and sell a lot, I should still have a decent amount of stock. So I'm not fully playing catch up all year to have just anything on my table. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Okay. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to turn my camera off for a few minutes, but I'm here.
Go ahead. You're good. But yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do for markets this year. So the upcoming markets, that was the big update, is I'm not going to crochet anything for this year. Actually, while you're doing that, let me pull up my Artemis second cam so I can show the room, and we'll just do that while I'm in like a little. No, wait, give it a sec. I don't need audio. Let me make it Artemis second cam.
Do you even know how to do that?
Yes. Ari says, don't die on us. Ooh, I gotta turn the sound off though. We don't need echoing in here. Okay. So let's do this. And then if I flip my camera around. There we go. Okay. So if I add to scene, and then we pull this up. Hey, you're looking at Artemis second cam. And then I can get up and walk around. So if I go to the very back of my room, it's so zoomed in for some reason. But this is my office. You can see the floor. I sort of straightened up my desk here with all of my knitting stuff and my cute little tchotchkes over in the corner. Over here. There we go. My cute little tchotchkes and this fun Mothman picture that I bought at the last market that I did with my mom.
Yes, I remember that market.
Oh, and now we can see Colette up close. See, the wig doesn't look as bad up close, right?
Oh yeah, it looks better up close.
Yeah.
It looks better up close.
Let me maybe fix her bangs a little bit. But it looks a lot better up close. And then, so this, let me step back as much as I can. So this right here, that's all yarn.
Ari said Moth Jesus.
Moth Jesus, yes. Ari and I are listening to Dungeons and Daddies, and Mothman showed up in Dungeons and Daddies, and they're calling him Moth Jesus. So starting at, like, if we look, where's my hand? In between, starting at that gap right there in between the milk crates, this, all the way, all the bags, all the boxes, that is all yarn. And then I have more yarn in the closet. And then I have organized, but there is more yarn in that. There's a little storage thing down there. And more yarn in there. There's more yarn in there. There's yarn stuff in there. There's some yarn stuff in there, but that's mostly like Party City and book stuff. But yeah.
We need to get you a shelving unit.
Yes.
For all
yes,
that
we
yarn
do.
and stuff.
Yes, we do. Well, Chloe got me one. So what I'm going to do is, Chloe got me one for my birthday, but it's a rolling one. So that's the one that I want to use when I go to markets. But I had also purchased some what's it called? Grid walls.
Uh-huh.
I purchased some grid walls from Party City before we closed. Speaking of which, I had a Party City nightmare that I'll talk about in a minute. This is going to be all sidebar today, I guess, because I am running coffee wild. But I purchased three grid walls that I was going to use at markets, where I was going to like put them in a triangle, and then hang shelves on them. I got the shelves as well. I was going to put them in a triangle, put the shelves on them, and bring those to market. But since Chloe got me a collapsing rolling shelf, that I fully know will fit in the back of my car based on the size of it, then those 3 grid walls, that corner back here, that corner back here where that table is, I'm going to move that table out of that corner. What you can't really see is that's a very small corner.
Yeah.
It's not very big.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, because the grid walls are 4 feet tall, I'm going to take that table out of there. That table is going to come into the center of the room. I'm going to move you guys, so where you guys are sitting against this back wall, I'm going to move you guys to the table in the middle of the room so I can put stuff on my backdrop and have stuff on the wall behind me or whatever and look all cute like you do. And then over in that wall, I'm going to put the 3 grid walls over there and just store a bunch of yarn over there. And then hopefully I can buy more grid walls or more shelving or whatever to put, and then that will just be the storage nook. Is my goal. I just have not gotten it.
Sounds good. Okay, next on the list, the interview.
Yes, the interview. Sorry, I'm closing out
second
Artemis,
cam.
the second cam. Go away, second cam. Get out of here. Okay, there it goes. Okay, the interview. So previously, I was interviewing to be not for a new job, which I think I confused some people when I kept saying interview, but I was interviewing to be a manager at Men's Warehouse. It is confusing because usually once you're in a company, in my experience, usually once you're in a company, you don't do another interview for a job moving up in the company, but they did an interview. So, it was very, very stressful because I was interviewing with my store manager who fully set me up for success. He gave me a bunch of notes, told me things that he was going to try to talk about and stuff like that. But I was interviewing with the store manager. I was interviewing with another adjacent, I think it was an HR person. His position was never introduced to me. And then essentially the district manager, who is a very intense man. He's a very intense man. And he also has a bit of a, he clearly, Spanish is his first language, so he has a bit of an accent, which isn't a problem, except for the fact that I am already stressed out and trying to process what you're saying. It adds to the auditory processing issues of you say something and I don't immediately recognize what you're saying, and so I have to stall for a minute for my brain to catch up with what you just said. And then because that happens to me in English, with no accent or anything, even talking to just people I've talked to for years, you can say something to me, it takes a second for my brain to catch up with the sounds that just came out of your mouth. So trying to focus, I had to focus fully all of my brain energy towards it. Literally after that interview, the whole rest of the day I was walking around in a brain fog because I focused so much of my energy trying to make sure that I was doing well. But fully bearing the lead, I got the job.
Yay!
I got the job. So now I am one of the managers. That's another thing that kind of led into my decision of not selling any crochet stuff this year. Was I got the job, so I'm now a manager at Men's Warehouse, which means it didn't change my schedule that much, other than the fact that thank you, Ronald and Junie. Other than the fact that when you're a manager at Men's Warehouse, you're full-time, and they mean full-time on the dot. I have to get 40 hours, no more, no less. And so, which is wild to me. I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense. I guess I kind of understand, but I also sort of don't understand because if you want me to be full-time and get all the hours, if you feel like there's a lot of things that need to be done in the store, don't fuss at me for getting overtime. If you want to make sure that I'm not getting overtime, don't fuss at me for getting 35 or 32 hours. If I get the job done quicker, why are you fussing at me? If you know that there's a lot of work to be done and I'm in here doing the work, don't fuss at me. I don't...
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yes, I have a big boy job. Well, I had a big boy job at Party City. I was a manager over there too. But so I got the job, and
so what happened to you said that there was another guy that was in the running with you and you thought that he might get it because the district manager was friends with him or something?
You and I are going to talk about that off camera.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yes.
Cool beans. Okay.
Maybe I'll say something in the Discord, but you and I are going to talk about that fully off camera.
Creeps at work.
Yes, that's the other thing. So we are not going to talk about it, Ari. We will off camera. But there was a creep at work. So there was this guy who came in, and he's an older black gentleman. And so I feel like especially the older black gentlemen, gravitate towards me when I'm in the store. Which, like, fine, sure. If you want to work with somebody that you feel more comfortable.
That was my other question. Are you the only female presenting person at your job?
No,
or?
Not at all. I am, let's see. There's 4-ish men who work at the store, like he, him men. There's they, she, me. And then there's 2 she, hers that work at the store.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely not the only woman presenting, working in the store. And I honestly, I guess it kind of depends on the outfits, because the other 2 women who work at the store do dress very femme. I feel like sometimes they're dressed very femme, sometimes, I don't know. I feel like when I try to dress masculine, we're going a whole nother sidebar. I feel like when I try to dress masculine, it just looks like I'm being lazy and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I want to buy a suit, but in working this job, I don't have $500 to just drop.
Yeah.
Suits are expensive. Suits are very expensive.
Yeah, suits are pricey.
But hopefully with my raise, maybe I'll have some more money to buy a suit, because I went from $15 an hour to now I'm getting paid $17.50 an hour. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm making only 50 cents less than what Wayne is making to wear a body cam and a bulletproof vest at TJ Maxx and chase people down.
Oh, good Lord.
But circling back, wait, where was I?
The creep at work.
At the store. So I feel like all the old black men kind of gravitate towards me. Even if somebody else is helping them, they go out of their way to step over and say hey to me, which, like, sure, thanks, great. Like, if that's what you feel comfortable with, if I am the person that makes you feel more comfortable, then sure, whatever, I'll help you out. But when I tell you that I need to measure you for your shirt, don't say, do I need to get naked? And I say, no. And you say, oh, I was hoping I would.
Oh, creepy.
Yes. I, for some reason, am a magnet for old nasty men. Because that's the same. Because there was another, I can't remember if I told you this. I know I've told so many other people this. But there was one day when it was either McDonald's or Bojangles. I want to say maybe Bojangles, based on what I'm picturing of the layout of the drive-thru window. But we know I worked at drive-thru windows basically everywhere. But there was an old man at Bojangles who he was like asking for a biscuit or something. Some sort of, like, let's say he wanted a sausage biscuit. We didn't have sausage at the time. So I was like, if you could pull forward, we'll run your sausage biscuit out to you. And he's like, they always say that to me and then they forget me and then blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I will personally run your sausage biscuit out to you. So you know, if you don't get your biscuit, you can blame me. Which I say to a lot of people so that they, like, a lot of people feel more comfortable if I say that I will personally do it. Mm-hmm. And so, not just him. And so he's like, okay. And so he pulls forward. I get bye, Junie. Yeah, I'll definitely message you later.
Bye, Junie.
He pulls forward. We get his sausage biscuit. I run his sausage biscuit out to him. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know that you are so beautiful. Especially back at Bojangles, I used to wear the elf ears, the full regalia. And, and so I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I don't dress like that for nothing. Thank you for the compliment. So he's like, I just wanted to know you are so beautiful. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, you know what? If I had the time, I would take you and lock you up in my basement so only I could see you and no one would ever see you again. And I'm like, okay. My husband would have a problem with that. And he's like, oh, he wouldn't be able to do anything. And I'm like, this is a frail, like 70-something-year-old man. And you know Wayne. I'm like, I just walked away laughing. I was like, okay. Okay. But yes, I am just a magnet for old creepy men. Like, there was also another guy who I remember specifically at McDonald's, who every time he would come through the drive-thru, and I would be not at the pay window, but at the window where you hand out the food. And every time I would hand him his food, he would like, if this is me handing the food, he would make sure to like rub his hand over my hand when he grabbed his food. Like, you don't have to grab that far, actually, because I'm holding the very edge of the bag. You could just grab the other edge of the bag. He would reach his hand out to make sure that he would make some skin-to-skin contact. It was gross. It was gross.
Gross.
Men in the McDonald's drive-thru used to ask me, what size shoe do you wear? Can I buy your used socks? Rhonda, you could have been making a killing. If somebody asked to buy my socks, I'd sell some socks. Unless they're my movement socks. You're not taking my movement socks. I'd sell some socks. But don't be touching me. Don't touch me. You can have my socks, but don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Ugh.
Yes, I'm just a magnet for creepy old men. I've had people say stuff to me at Party City, at all of the, and it's always old men. Every time. Like, older than my papa.
What about the tech bros?
Oh, yes. So there's the creepy old man, and then, so to finish up the creepy old man story, he wanted a suit. We found the suit. He wasn't sure if he wanted to pay for it. He had to go ask his wife, by the way. So he made that nasty comment about getting naked to me, and then was like, I need to go ask my wife about the suit. And I'm like, your wife? Does your wife know you're talking to people like this? But I didn't say that because I was being, customer service or whatever. And so he's like, we had to put the suit on hold, and he was like, can you give me your name so that when I come back in here, then I know who to ask for. So I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I just gave him my name so he would get out of my face. And then I was in the back of the store, and I saw him walk back in. I immediately hid by the dressing rooms, and I pulled over one of the men, and I was like, hey, Tanner, that old black gentleman that just walked in, the one that's standing right at the register right there, can you please take care of him? He was very creepy to me last time he was in here. And Tanner's like, nah, I got you. And so Tanner took care of him and got him out of the store like so fast. And I was like, thank you, Tanner. And he's like, anytime, come get any of us. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. But yeah, so that was the end of that interaction. And then this is just a man being an asshole, is the tech bro. Is he came in and he's like, he's doing some sort of business summit or whatever. And so he needed he's not from here. It's either he's not from here or he's going to another place. And so he's not going to have his full wardrobe with him. He's not really going to have time to wash anything or anything like that. So he's buying some sports coats. And we go through the sports coats. We find a couple that are in his size. And first thing is like red flag is every time he goes to put on a jacket, which I have seen grown men and young men alike put on these sports coat jackets by themselves. Every time he goes to put on a jacket, he gets one arm and then it gets kind of stuck on the other arm. He's like, some help? As if I should have already been there helping him. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I did not realize that you could not put a jacket on yourself.
Okay, so who's gonna dress you when you get home?
We'll circle back to it. So we do that, and then he's trying, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, give me just a second. I have to get a phone call." Pulls 2 phones out of his pocket, and is like, "I'm getting blown up on both phones." And he's like answering over here, and he's like trying on one of the sports coats and like looking in the mirror, and he's like, "Oh no, it's not going to be a problem. I know the mayor." No, that's not going to be a problem either. I also know the chief of police, so we're good friends, so it'll be okay. And I'm like, just the cringiest stuff. And so I'm like, okay, you cartoon villain. And so he then
let me pick up that name you dropped over there.
Yes. Yes, like, do you need a broom for all these names you're dropping on the floor? So he does that, and then he's trying on the sports coats, and he's trying to decide between 2 different sports coats, and he's like, I kind of like both of these. And I'm like, in my head thinking, okay, Mr. Popular, just buy both of them.
Yeah,
and
you're balling like that.
Yes. So he's trying to decide. And so he calls his wife, he's trying to call his wife to get her opinion between 2 different jackets. And he's like, and she won't answer immediately. And so he like calls her the first time. She doesn't answer immediately. And we're standing like right next to each other. Like I'm kind of holding up one of the jackets next to the other one because he's going to pull up a FaceTime so she can look at the 2. And so I, am being a coat hanger for this man. But anyway, and he's like, don't you just fucking love being married? Why won't she fucking answer? And I'm like, girl, get out. Girl, get out. So clearly the person who's going to help him with his jackets is his little lady at home. It was bad vibes all around.
Oh,
and then he ended up buying 3 jackets. So why were we questioning? If you had the money, he ended up buying 3 jackets. 3 like $200 jackets. He spent like $800 on jacket and shirts and all that stuff. And I'm like, then why were we questioning? If you liked all of them,
if you're going to buy them all.
Oh my God. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. It was so stupid.
Crazy.
Yes.
Well, are we ready to move on to our yarny, crafty thoughts?
Yes, I'm just taking stuff out of the... Oh, no, you are already on top. I was about to click that, and you clicked it immediately. Yes, we can move on to the yarny, crafty thoughts.
Do we want to go straight down the line, or do we want to pick and choose?
Go ahead and go straight down the line. Whenever I add stuff into the list, we're just going to do some, what is it, under the kitchen sink? No, housekeeping. We're going to do some housekeeping. Whenever I add stuff into the Google Keep, I will look and see like the stuff that you have added, like the recent stuff that you've added, and I'll just sprinkle my stuff throughout so that we can kind of go down the line and go back and forth, so it's not like all you or all me. So yeah, we can pretty much go down the line every time.
Okay. Well,
you did a thing.
I did a thing. I said go straight down the line, but I don't think we need to go all the way down the line. First of all, I'm going to start from the bottom here.
Start from the bottom?
Yeah. Bobble blanket on hold till further notice.
Okay.
Avatar blankets have not worked on them.
Okay.
6-day star blanket have not worked on it yet. It's getting kind of hot to work on that.
It is getting kind of warm.
It is getting kind of warm. My Blue Lines blanket that I'm working on, not much progress, as you can see.
Looking good though.
Because I'm halfway through my second ball.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what size the balls are. This is where I am, so that's roughly halfway.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I finished my first ball. I'm halfway through my second ball. So there's not really much to say about that. The goal is still to try to get it done by Father's Day, which is, didn't we say that was the third Sunday in June? It's shortly. I think it's shortly after your father's birthday. Mm-hmm. So there we are with all of our.
Ooh, while you're talking, continue. While you're talking, I'm gonna fix my eyebrows because it's still driving me crazy.
I did some coloring.
I didn't do any coloring.
But I didn't finish anything except for one picture because I wanted to try out my my acrylic markers.
Yes.
So this.
Ooh, I like that. That's the acrylic markers?
Yes, this is the acrylic marker.
So nice. It looks so vibrant.
This is a page that I printed out from that sample thing that I downloaded. The book it comes from is called Cute and Cozy Color by Number by Emily Clark. You can get it on Amazon for like $7.99.
Ronald says it looks cute.
Not Spawn. I like the acrylic markers. I really love the way they just glide on very nicely. The only thing is I bought like a 24. Yeah, that is my handwriting on the bottom. Yes, it is very bad handwriting.
It's not bad though. I was just wondering what you were writing.
It's better than it used to be. Yeah, because I've been watching all those colorists. So I'm like, well, I'm going to write down what book this came from and what markers or whatever I used so that I can remember, and the date on the bottom. So this was roughly 10 days ago that I finished this. But this was, I don't think you can see it.
But without my glasses, I can't.
But the buckle, I used my Ohuhu glitter markers that your sister bought me.
Oh yeah, you'd have to like turn it around to see the sparkle.
Yeah, I don't think you can see it.
It's just barely, just
It's
barely.
very glittery. If you see it in person, it's very glittery.
Ronald
But
said, hashtag former teacher here. Your handwriting looks pretty good to me.
I like the brand acrylic markers that I got is called Tan Mint.
Mm-hmm.
And they're less expensive than some of the other acrylics. I like them, but I only got the 24 color set, and I don't know if you noticed, but all the colors seem to be very kind of pastel-y to me.
Yes.
Like there's no red in this set
Oh.
at all. I mean, the color that's supposed to be red is very light.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying not to, because I just finished watching a video about consumerism and over consumerism and how like TikTok has ruined coloring because everybody's trying to sell you markers on the TikTok shop and all this, or trying to sell you books and all this other kind of stuff. And I have to admit, I see some of those because I'm getting a lot of the marker ones now in my algorithm. And it makes me want to buy some markers. And I'm like, well, I don't need any more markers. I have all these different markers. But I have to admit, out of my acrylics, I don't have the colors that I need to do a full page in just the acrylics. Mm-hmm. That's why this page, like part of the blues up here are actually my water-based markers because I didn't have the color in the acrylics. And I'm doing another page right now, and it's not coming out as dark as I thought it would. I'm doing a landscape page of like buildings, and it's not coming out quite as I thought it would because all the colors are more pastel-y to me than I thought they would be when I bought them. So I would have to I guess I need to get another assortment or whatever that has darker colors in it. But in general, I only bought that small one because it was on sale for $7.99.
And you just wanted to test it out.
I wanted to see if I like acrylic markers. And so now I know that I like acrylic markers. I need to get a set that has more colors if I'm going to use acrylic markers. But I also feel guilty buying any more markers when I already have markers.
But they serve different purposes.
Well, I mean, they're all just going in my coloring books. It's not like I'm, making art to sell or whatever. They're all just going in my coloring books, number one. And number two, I think part of the problem is every assortment that I buy, I mean, the overconsumption videos are like, you don't really need all those markers. And I'm like, yeah, but when you're coloring and you want a certain color, and then your assortment does not have, like all of my color by number books, no matter how, and you saw how many I have at this point. Every picture asks for a sky blue somewhere in the picture because I do a lot of landscapes and stuff. Especially since I like to do a lot of landscape. So practically all the books, all the pictures ask for sky blue at some point. And so I have one marker out of all of my sets. I have one marker that I would consider sky blue. And I've used that thing so much that it's practically dried out already.
Yeah, I think the thing to do is to help prevent the overconsumption is figure out which medium you prefer and then get all the colors in that medium. And especially if it's a slightly higher quality brand, some of those mediums like Copics, I know, will sell just individual refills. So you can just get an individual. So like if you use a bunch of sky blue, you can just buy 4 sky blues.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that there's certain colors where if I could just buy those individual colors, but then I look and it's like, $5 for a marker. That just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
One marker.
That's how I feel about my face paint. I sometimes will go to buy just an individual. So you have seen it at least once. My face paint palette is I have a bunch of little pans with
Mm-hmm.
multiple colors in them, and then I can
Mm-hmm.
pick up all the colors on one brush. And so to buy a replacement or to buy just a new like color pan, those things are like $8. Like $8 to $10 for one little pan. And if I get a rainbow one, and every little girl is like, I'm like, okay, what color do you want your unicorn hair? Rainbow. And so those rainbow pans are gone so fast, so fast every time.
Yeah, but
Ronald said BRD.
so that is for the I would show you the progress on the other stuff I did, but it's not really worth. Only to mention that I have figured out that what's the word? Doing the pixel, the pixel pictures,
Yes.
where it's all squares and it's mystery. I was trying to see if I had one in here that I could hold up, but I do not. I don't think. Although, well, yeah, because this is mystery mosaic, so this is like the pixels.
Yes.
And these pixels, I think, are like these must be 4x4 because I have a 3x3 in there
Mm-hmm.
that I printed off from that sample book, and that thing is so tiny.
Mm.
And that's part of why all I have is some in progress stuff because so
It takes
tiny,
so long.
so tiny. Yeah, this book is 4x4, and I have decided that this book is probably the smallest I can do.
So let me put my glasses back on. I can't even, the other one I could kind of see without my glasses. This one.
Yeah, this is the 4x4. This is the smallest I can do. The mystery mosaics that I bought you is 5x5 because I went and measured. I put it in the Discord the other week, but I measured the different books that I have. That one picture I'm working on right now is 3x3, and I had a whole bunch of 3x3 after working on that. I had a whole bunch of 3x3 books
that you took out of your wish list.
I took off of my wish list.
Never again.
Like, oh no. 4x4 is the smallest I'm gonna go with. I mean, I understand the 3x3, you get some detail in there. It makes for a nice picture, I guess.
But I could not imagine going any smaller than what I did for the picture that I showed the other 2 weeks ago or whenever that was.
And that's 5x5.
Nah.
That's 5x5. I'm like, no.
I did that in one sitting, and I probably should have broken it up into two.
Yeah. Yeah, because even with big things like this cute and cozy that I did, it takes me maybe 1 or 2 evenings to do those. I don't do them all at once. And these small pixel ones, these take several evenings. I have another one that I'm working on, which is a 5x5, but it's a double page spread. You know how in that mystery mosaics they have the double page spreads. I went back to my very first mystery mosaics book because I still have 2 or 3 in there that I haven't colored. I had put it down for a while because it's like, well, I accidentally looked at the back and I know what all these pictures are, so I'm not that excited anymore to color them, so I'm just not going to finish this book. But since then, I haven't really looked in that book, so I forgot what the pictures are. So I purposely did not look again in the back, and I just pulled the picture out and started coloring it. And now I've kind of figured out what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and finish it because I'm using my colored pencils on that one to try to really. When I bought that book was when I first was using colored pencils and trying to figure out, and now I know a little better how to use colored pencils and actually get a good color out of them. So I'm going back to my Crayola colored pencils, and I'm getting a much better color out of them because I used to just color like a child, and I would just take my pencil and go and then wonder why it doesn't look that
Like
great.
everybody else,
Yeah, but you have to really,
there are techniques.
yeah, with colored pencil, you kind of have to really go over it if you want to get that full color out of it.
I also, speaking of, I wonder if I have it sitting over here. I found, I don't even remember when I did this. Let me put my glasses back on. I'm gonna finish my makeup in a minute. This is gonna be a get ready with me, I guess. We are just going all over the place. But when I was cleaning my office, I found this that I don't even remember making. Yes, I remember making it. I can clearly tell this is my handwriting in my work. I don't remember when I made this. I found this canvas with like flowers drawn on it.
Uh-huh.
What was I gonna do with this?
I don't know what you were gonna do with
What
that.
was I doing? I mean, I know what I want to do with it now. I think I'm going to color in. I need to finish the flowers because the ones at the bottom are unfinished. But I think I'm going to finish the flowers, and then I might take my there are two mediums that I'm thinking. I'm thinking either I have the like heavy paints, which I showed you some pictures like months and months ago. I showed you some pictures that I did with that, where you like put the paint almost into a pipe, like a piping bag, like when I do the henna, and it's raised off of the paper. So I was thinking I could do that for the flowers, and then so they'd be kind of raised above the background, or I could paint the background, and then because this is just canvas, I could paint the background and then take some embroidery thread and like go over the flowers so they're like thread, so it's like textured.
That's interesting.
It sounds fun, but both of those ideas are going to take forever. So it is sitting in the bag with my Moomin stuff.
So I finished that. When I finished this picture about 10 days ago, then it hit me, oh, I'm going to Terry's, and I had that latte stripe staring me in the face, and I don't know if you remember me telling you she had worn that hat on a trip to the mountains, and the person
and a friend liked it. Yep.
Admired her hat. And she tells me the story is like, my friend really liked the hat, and I almost gave it to her, but then I didn't know if I would get another hat. And I'm like, if you want another hat, just ask me for another hat.
Girl, if you want a hat. Ooh, I think that white is too bold. What do we think about that white in the corner of this?
I don't think it's bad.
Okay. I like the look of it on other people because it's a drag queen technique where you put a lot of like heavy white underneath. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to seeing it on me, because I feel like it's too bold.
No, I mean, when you're opening your eyes going, what's wrong with this white? But when you hold your eyes normal, it looks like it's just brightening your eyes. And behind the glasses, it's fine.
Okay. No, I'm going to keep it.
So
continue. So, yes. So you're making her another hat.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to be going to Terry's on the weekend of the 2nd. So all I've been working on these past few days, and I just finished yesterday, is another hat out of latte stripe. But I didn't feel like making the same pattern that I did before. Yeah. So I did a different pattern.
Ooh, let me put my glasses on. That looks good.
So I made a beanie. Because part of the problem with the other hat was she doesn't like slouch hats, and she doesn't like pom-poms. And the last hat was made for a pom-pom. So I followed the instruction but didn't do the pom-pom, and so it had like a point kind of sticking on the top. And she wants the hat pulled down properly on her head because she's an old lady. And to be fair, even when she was younger, and she'll tell you this herself, so I'm not being mean, she doesn't really know anything about fashion, and she doesn't care to learn about fashion. She just picks something that she likes and she wears it, and that's it.
Honestly, same.
So she doesn't go in for trends or anything like that. She's still wearing the same hair that she had in the 80s. She's one of those women. And so the hat that I made was meant to be worn with the brim full, but she pulled it down and turned the brim up, which means you don't get to see half of the detail of the hat. So I made a different hat, which is a beanie that she can pull all the way down, I left out the extra rows for the slouch
Mm-hmm.
because the pattern says make it this way if you want a regular beanie, add these rows if you want it to be slouchy.
I love a versatile pattern. I love when
I
the
left
pattern
those
just tells
out.
you what you need to do.
And so this is called the Wanderlust beanie.
I feel like I've seen that pattern.
Huh?
I said I feel like I've seen that pattern.
You probably have. And I've made another hat by that same person. I didn't think about it at first, but I did make another hat by that same person. But anyway, so I think the colors ended up lining up.
They lined up
nicely
really well, yeah.
You have the dark. It starts with the dark, and then I ended with the dark at the bottom. I didn't. You can probably see I didn't do a very good job with the joining because you can see where it's going.
If I can get away with not doing a slip stitch join and just crochet in the round, I will always. I will ignore the instructions that are in the thing, and if I'm like, I think I can do this just in the round, absolutely, because that jog drives me crazy.
Maybe I'll try that next time to see how it goes. But I'm such a rule follower. As it is, I didn't follow the rules because this was supposed to be like 72 stitches.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I ended up with like 66 stitches, and I did not try to increase it because I felt like this was big enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
it looks big enough. Have you tried it on?
I have not tried it on because it is not for me.
Then how do you know it's going to fit a human head?
Well, she can try it on, and if it does not work, I will have to work my voodoo to find where I wove in the ends.
Good luck.
Because I'm good at weaving in an end. So,
look at that highlight.
Huh?
Look at that highlight.
Oh, please. But so I'm planning because this took a little less than half of that jumbo skein of stripe. Mm-hmm. So I am going to start the plan today before I woke up feeling like death warmed over was to work on a scarf with the rest of the latte stripe and hopefully get it done before Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So the scarf that I want to do is a mesh kind of scarf. So I'm hopefully I can get it done before Friday.
So you talking about latte stripe makes me want to jump to fully another thing in the things that we're just not going in order on the list at all. Ravelry has marked Red Heart Super Saver Stripes discontinued.
Yes, when you go on, because sometimes I'll search by a yarn. That's what I did when I was looking for this pattern. I was looking for a different pattern to do with the latte stripe, and so I'll go on Ravelry and search the specific yarn, and then look at other projects that people have done with that yarn. And when you pull up Red Heart Super Saver Stripes, it says discontinued. And then you pull up the jumbo stripes, and it also says discontinued.
Can't do this to me. I have to look. Does Red Heart have a website? Have we looked it up?
Well, they're on Yarn Inspirations. They're part of Yarn Inspirations, and you go to Yarn Inspirations, and most of the colors, like the colors that you like, your favorite is still there. Latte stripe is gone, and we saw that. We talked about that a few weeks ago. I can't remember who I heard it from, but they said it was gone on the site, and when I went just recently, it's still gone on the site. And I mean gone, not like there with an X through it, meaning it's sold out right now. Is gone. It's not even listed.
I'm looking it up right now because like if they just take away a couple of the colors that they like felt weren't doing well, that's one thing. If they take away my favorite stripe and retro stripe, That's what
I was looking at, because I know those are the two colors. When I went on Ravelry and saw that they have it listed as discontinued, I went to Yarn Inspirations to see if they still had those two colors, and they do.
Okay.
And I did a search. I did a regular Google search to see if like maybe something had been announced, but I can't even find anything announced about latte stripe being discontinued. It's gone.
Yeah, I'm looking on the website now. I'm trying to find where are
they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy, because if you try to search for Red Heart Stripes by itself, it won't bring up Red Heart Stripes as a separate category.
It's not. Does Red Heart Stripes fall under just their normal Red Heart?
Yeah, if you have to look under the regular Red Heart, which doesn't make sense because Bitty Stripes has its own category.
Yes, because I just scrolled past Bitty Stripe.
Ombre has its own category.
And Red Heart Pooling, what is that? No one ever talks about that. What's Red Heart Pooling?
That's one of those things where you purposely have, you know how when you do a variegated yarn and it looks just kind of spacey, there's a certain way you can do it to make count your stripes so that all the colors
fall into a little thing
group together in a pool.
Yes. I remember this now, but mad. Yeah, Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, Red Heart Super Saver Soft, Baby Steps. Where's normal? Which one do I need to look at? What's Red Heart Super Saver Comfort? Red Heart has so many yarns.
Yes, they have a lot of yarns, and some of these, like Comfort, you don't even see in the store.
No. I'm gonna look up Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo because I know that this favorite stripe and I think the retro stripe comes in jumbo.
Well, I know the latte stripe is jumbo because the skein I have is jumbo. But if you try to look up the colors on Ravelry, they don't have any colors under jumbo. They only have the colors under regular.
Ooh. Yeah, they've got the favorite stripe and retro stripe under jumbo. So I guess.
And do they show it as in stock or do they have the X over it?
They show it as in stock.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few solid colors that have X's, and I see latte stripe.
Latte stripe is back on there?
In jumbo. Yeah, no X.
No X on it? Well, cool.
Yeah.
If they've got it, then cool.
You better order it up.
That's what I'm thinking.
That is misleading. Unless Ravelry has an in that we don't know about, that's misleading. That was concerning.
That is concerning because I was sitting here thinking I do not have. It's not part of my budget right now
to buy up a bunch of yarn.
I hesitate. I don't like to say I don't have money for this and I don't have money for that because I feel like invisible people are going to come at me later and go, "Oh, well, how did you afford this cruise if you didn't have money for an $8 skein and latte stripe?"
Invisible people.
You know how people always say, "Well, they might see me do." Well, who's they?
Mm-hmm. They.
Yeah, the invisible people. But so I did a thing. Did you do? So was your thing the flowers? Is that what your thing was?
It was not. Hang on. Let me get my lipstick on and then I can tell you the thing that I did.
Okay. And I think you added this thing of art is their mother's child because I don't know art.
I have to talk about the thing that I did first.
All right.
Give me 2 seconds. Because I'm doing a red lip and I want to make sure it's something I'm not going to hate.
A red lip. You look good with a red lip.
I like this red lip. This turned out pretty good. What do we think?
Yes, I like it.
Because I used on the outer edges, because we know I love that darker outer edge instead of the lighter outer edge. I used this. I found this somewhere in a bag that I honestly probably expired. I probably shouldn't be wearing it. But I thought, where are we? There we go.
Buttery matte lip cream?
Yes, from Broadway Colors.
That sounds like a discount makeup that you get at Walgreens.
Mm-hmm. But it gives a nice, like, it looks brown in the bottle, but it's definitely like a plummy kind of red.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
So it gives me kind of the exact color I like.
Yeah. Looks nice. I like it. I
like it. So I did do a thing. I have fully finished my makeup now, so I don't have to put on any more makeup. I just need to put away all of the 47 things that I took out of my bag. Yeah, this is why this is always my makeup bag, because if I get a bag any bigger than this, and I think this is like this is an old Ipsy bag. I've never gotten an Ipsy like box before. I just have acquired an Ipsy bag. If I bring a makeup bag bigger than this, I will end up bringing far too much makeup. As it is, I put an extra thing in my purse that I need to take out because I have a grocery bag in here with with a full eyeshadow palette and my blush brush and my blush and my highlight that I am taking out right now, so I don't continue to carry it with me. It's too much. I need to just do my makeup before I leave and not touch it. So I did do a thing. I decided out of nowhere. This was pre the decision to make the decision to not sell any crochet this season. I went to Michael's and got.
You're laughing. What did you do?
I am laughing because it's just silly. I went to Michael's and got a skein of
cloud cakes. Perfect phasing.
Look at that yellow.
That's nice.
Isn't it very pretty? It's a very nice, like warm, like summery yellow. And you can see that there's a tail coming out of it because I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not as funny as I'm making it seem.
What did you make?
You're knitting.
Why are you knitting?
I went and I got some size 4 millimeter like circular knitting needles. I didn't have any knitting needles. I didn't have any circular knitting needles. And I just went.
You don't have any knitting needles. Last time I checked, you had some double points and you were trying to knit on double points.
Some double points that I put some hair ties on the end of so that they wouldn't keep sliding off.
Just get some knitting needles.
I did. So I got some size 4 millimeter knitting needles. So I'm turning that perfect phasing. I am working on a shawl, which is another. All of it is
4 millimeter knitting needles.
Yes, I am using the same sizing that I would use if I was using a crochet hook. So if I'm using a crochet hook,
is that DK yarn?
It feels like DK yarn. That's why, because I rarely will go by the labels. I will go by the feels because your girl knows some worsted. I know worsted. Worsted is the yarn I grew up on. I know worsted. And so when I grab a yarn that's like this, they're accounting for the fuzz, but that is not a worsted yarn. They're accounting for the fuzz. This is a DK yarn. And so I'm going by vibes is honestly the tagline of my life.
You're knitting on vibes.
Knitting on vibes. I think just the whole situation is silly. I bought the perfect phasing yarn. What was I even supposed to do with that? I got some knitting needles. Why am I even knitting? I'm making a shawl, even though I have said multiple times it feels like no one wears shawls.
Who wears shawls?
What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm like barely following a pattern. I found I literally looked up because I'm like, I don't feel like reading a knitting pattern or learning or using my brain power to learn to read knitting patterns. I don't want to learn any new stitches. I want to just use the knowledge that I have. I just want to sit in my cute little corner and knit. And so I found a knitting pattern. I did have to learn one stitch. I had to learn the KFB knit front back to do an increase. So what I'm doing is I started with 2 stitches at the bottom. I do 1 increase at the beginning of every row and then just keep going. And it's making a cute little triangle.
That's how I have made several baby blankets.
I'm just making. Actually, come to think of it, I guess if I had more yarn, this is definitely going to be a shawl. It depends on how far this yarn goes, but because it could just be like I was originally going to make a triangle like scarf, but I'll just call it whatever I want to call it depending on how big it is when I get to the end of this yarn. Because I fully was not going by the measurements of how much yarn was in the skein. I was just like, I like this color. Nope. I'm just making it to make it. Because I'm not going to wear a shawl. Who wears shawls? I don't wear shawls. I am fully just making it to make it. Because I wanted to just sit and do some knitting. So we'll see. I just saw the yarn and I was like, that would look very cute as like a little like dip dyed looking scarf, because I started the yellow on the end and it'll go up to the white at the top. So we'll see. But I started this on Sunday. So this is what I've gotten from Sunday to now. I am much slower at knitting than I am at crocheting. Like,
so you're now at my level.
Yes. Here, you've seen me crochet before. Everybody on camera has seen me crochet before. This is the speed that I am knitting at.
Did I teach you to knit continental, or did you figure that out yourself?
I think you taught me.
Okay.
Do you knit not continental? Do you knit the other way?
Well, I knit continental, but when I learned, I knit English.
Oh.
When I learned, and I switched to continental because I had pain in my right hand, and so I had to learn to make more use of my left hand in my knitting to alleviate some of the pain, and that's how I switched to continental. Because
you taught me.
Because I used to throw. Now I pick, which is what you're doing. You're picking and throwing. You're picking.
I don't think I've ever thrown. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. My right hand would not know what to do with that yarn. And then I do my little front.
You said you're using circulars?
And back, yes.
I can barely see that cable. It still looks like you're knitting on double points.
Yeah, it's black. So okay. It's like against my shirt, you're not going to see
very
it.
Very thin.
Yes, but so now that I've gotten here, you can see.
So yeah, you knit about as slow as I do.
It's going very slow. This shawl is going to take like a month and a half.
So, what is this? You being your mother's child?
So in picking up the knitting, and this is honestly a terrible decision, I have decided. We remember the cardigan that I was making for myself with the black and rainbow speckled yarn.
Yes, I vaguely remember.
Okay,
yes.
The one that kind of looks like a skating room floor. That I put that project down because I was having such a hard time finding where my stitches were. So I think I'm going to take the whole thing out and redo the cardigan knitting.
Oh, good Lord.
And this is why I said I am absolutely your child, because this is what you have done with the Avatar blanket 4,000 times. But I think I'm going to take the entire cardigan out, or more likely, I'm just going to knit with the yarn that's attached to the cardigan and it'll pull itself out.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to take the cardigan out and do it knitting, because with the crochet, I'm having to dig and find the stitches. With the knitting, it'll just be stitches they'll just be loops on the needle. And so I think it'll be easier to see what I'm doing with the yarn. Yeah. And so I think I'm going to, that's the other reason I got 4 millimeters, because that yarn that I have over there is definitely DK for the sweater. And so the pattern that I looked at that I think I'm going to do calls for 4 millimeters. I don't know. But you can fit a lot on circular needles, right? I should have to get a very long.
You can squish it together.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, because this is like, I don't know a way to. Let me just scoot back. Let me just use my space. This is.
Yeah, that looks roughly like a 16-inch, but you could squish your stuff on there.
Okay. Because I do still want it to be like an oversized slouchy cardigan. But I'm going to finish the shawl first, and then I'm going to go work on the cardigan. But yes, so those are the two things that I've done. I've done basically nothing.
It's nice to have. I think you're circling back to your decision to not crochet for market for a little while. I think this is good because it'll give you a chance to get back to enjoying needlework again, because you're just doing it because you want to do it and not because, oh my God, I have to rush and get all these things for your table.
Yes. And I'm thinking that was another part of the decision. I kind of left some stuff out because I hadn't talked about getting the Raise at Men's Warehouse yet. But I think also with the Raise at Men's Warehouse, Wayne and I were looking at our budgeting and stuff. It looks like we're going to be sitting much better off with me doing this raise. And so I should have previously, all of the money that I used to buy my like yarn and crafting supplies and stuff was money that came in from other markets. So I think with this raise, I should still have some leftover play money to be able to buy more yarn and stuff. And so I'll be able to continually make stuff without being like, oh, well, I can't make this thing until I do this job and then get that money and then do this. So yeah. I think I should be sitting good. I think the only thing that Wayne has not discussed, but I'm sure that he's worried about, that I am also worried about, is if I'm building up a bunch of inventory, where am I going to put this inventory? Because right now, all of our spare closets, the only empty room that we have, the only truly empty room that we have right now is Chloe's room in our apartment. And so all of our spare closets and stuff are taken up with our previous storage stuff from when we moved from our other house, and also all of the stuff that I got from Party City when I left Party City, because I got a lot of stuff from Party City. So I've got to go through that stuff and like reorganize it, figure out what I truly need to keep and what may have just been something on a whim because things were going away and I would never see them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that.
Once you get that organized, I'm sure it will work out. Okay, we still have about 30 minutes. Do we want to move on to what we've been watching and listening to?
Sure, though I am going to set an alarm for 12:15. At 12:15, we're going to hit. I decided, again on a whim. I'm just deciding a lot of stuff today. But I decided that we should start just so there's a bit more continuity and a bit more structure in what we're doing. If we start the stream, we talk about our life updates, we talk about our crochet, everything else is kind of in between. And then if we end with the shower thoughts, that way we kind of like have a little bit of a bookend there, you know?
Yeah.
So I have a hard out at 12:30 for the foreseeable future until the end of this market season. So if we start at 12:15 talking about shower thoughts, we'll have 15 minutes to talk about 1 or 2 shower thoughts. And then we can get through them because we almost never get to the end of that list.
That's true.
So I'm going to set an alarm.
Let's see. We have a bunch on our media consumption list. So let's try to do rapid fire speed through kind of thing. We'll just start from top to bottom. Most of the stuff on top seems to be mine, so you just keep on knitting. First, I just added them on, so the ones on top are the more recent ones, and then we'll go down.
Yeah.
But, our ancestors were messy.
What? Oh, I read it. I saw that in the thing. I was like, what is this? It sounds hilarious. What is it?
It is a podcast. It's a relatively new podcast. It's only like, I think, 4 or 5 full episodes. It is think normal gossip, except it is Black and it is historical.
I got to. You know, I'm about to blaze through this podcast. I've got to.
Yeah, because it's only because she just started it, so there's only like 4 or 5 episodes. I mean, there's some mini episodes in between, but you can skip those because the mini episodes are just talking about. The mini episodes are big because she does it every other week. And the mini episodes are pretty much just
like recapping the other episodes.
Well, talking about thank you everybody for joining us and trying to get you to, it's like a 5-minute episode trying to get you to join her Patreon and telling you what you would get if you joined the Patreon. So, but yeah, it's the setup. She has to have listened to Normal Gossip because the way she transitions and talks to her guests, it's very much like Normal Gossip.
That same vibe. Ooh, I love.
She'll say something, and then she'll say, "Now, what would you do if blah 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 did blah blah blah?" Which is very much how the girl on Normal Gossip does. But this is very much Black history. She pulled all this from like vintage newspapers and stuff. So it's there's a combination of Normal Gossip and the Dollop. If you've ever read the Dollop, the pastimes on the Dollop, which they do old newspapers too.
Yeah.
But it's like it's men and they're a little more vulgar. She's not as vulgar. But she does a thing which I really like at the beginning, where you know how on normal gossip they say, what is your relationship to gossip? On
Yes.
this one, she says, what kind of black are you?
Okay.
And like the last girl that I listened to, she said she was a witchy black.
It's
And,
me.
and she doesn't give any categories or anything. You just have to come up for yourself. What kind of
Yeah.
black are you?
I wonder what. Now I'm wondering what I would say. I think if I was asked that question, I would say maybe a witchy, nerdy black.
Yeah.
I feel like that encompasses me, right?
I would steal the answer that somebody else gave on there, which is I am a not black enough to sit with the black kids at the black kids table and not white enough to sit at the white kids table. Because that's how I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't into any of the things that the black kids were talking about. I was more into the things that the white kids were talking about, but I'm not white, so the white kids don't want me over there.
Yeah. Ooh. Tragic.
Yeah. But anyway, our ancestors were messy. You have to check it out.
Ooh, yeah. Ronald, you're right. Oh, Ronald, he's like, not Faye. I am a Faye black, honestly. Honestly, I am multifaceted. Is the problem.
You're multifaceted. Okay, why is this thing telling me that there's a comment and it's not showing it to me?
Did you scroll?
I tried. Ooh. Okay, whatever.
I'll read them.
Okay, Secret Yarnery on YouTube. Do you watch Secret Yarnery on YouTube? Ronald probably does because we have the same algorithm.
Because y'all do.
She is this white lady who lives in some African country. Kenya, I don't know where she lives. She vaguely mentioned it. I know she's not American, or she's not living in America.
Mm-hmm. Ronald says, yes, of course I do.
Exactly. And I don't watch her regularly, but she pops up in my Nairobi. I wanted to say Nairobi.
But she what?
I don't. She pops up in my algorithm every once in a while, and when I'm coloring or doing something else, I'll watch her. She pretty much, usually I watch her when she has a roundup. I don't know what other kind of videos she does, but usually she has a roundup of, like 10 shawl patterns for the spring.
Oh, yeah. One of those crochet pattern roundups. Yep.
Yeah, one of those crochet. But hers are different. It's not like I watch Amazing Paige do her roundups. And Ronald says that the lap gan. His grandma was her pattern. I'm pretty sure all the patterns she's talking about are hers, I think.
Oh, okay. She must have a lot of patterns to be able to do some roundups like that.
And she reminds me of a presenter on QVC. I haven't watched QVC in a while, but this is how I remember these presenters on QVC. It's kind of like, isn't it gorgeous? And because she's got the items there. It's not like
she's got it up on a pedestal. She's like, if you look right here, camera zooms in, you can see the detailing. The lights are a little bit too bright.
Yeah, it's not like Amazing Paige who just has the pictures and she says, I found this one and this is cute, and I found this one and this is cute, and this looks like it might be interesting to make. She has all of these Afghans or shawls. Usually when I see her, it's Afghans and shawls. I don't know that she makes anything else. But yeah, she has a stack of them, and she'll go, the first one is this, and she'll pull it up and she'll show it. And I mean, I know it sounds like, she must have a dozen of them, but like the thing that I watched the most recent video I watched, she did feature one that had squares that I had seen in another blanket that she had done. So I think she just puts up different lists and kind of recycles, which is fine.
Yeah.
but she's just very her she's sitting in her studio and it's very brightly lit, and she gets up and she, shows, and she wraps the shawl around her and turns around and all this other stuff. And wouldn't this be great if you're sitting by the fire and this would be all cuddly and blah blah blah. She's that kind of,
she's selling them patterns.
yeah, she's selling them. I have never looked up any of the patterns. I just watched the video because I find her mildly entertaining in the background. But I haven't really been tempted to look up any of her patterns or anything. But that's the secret yarn.
Nice.
I've been getting a lot of Tawny Plattis shorts on YouTube. I don't know if you have heard Tawny Plattis. And I'm probably saying her name wrong, but I spelled it right in the thing. But she's a voiceover actress as far as I can tell. I'm pretty sure that's what she does. And she has a lot of the shorts that always come through my thing are like 100 years of.
I know exactly who you're talking about, because she has her voiceover microphone right here, and she speaks in and she's like, "This is what I would sound like if I was a teenage kid who's a little rough around the edges, but is actually pretty good inside."
Yes, that's her.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's her. So I get a lot of her. And I always stop when she shows up in my algorithm.
Yeah, she's good at what she does.
Yeah, she's very good at what she does. So I always stop. And she recently did one that was a little bit different than that, because she said she did a lot of nannying and babysitting. And so she was like, these are the shows. What was it? If your kid watched Hey Arnold, they grew up to be blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
Watched Dora the Explorer, they grew up to be blah, 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 blah.
I think I saw a couple of those.
Different personalities. So that was pretty good. I finally took the plunge and started watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I started watching that months and months ago, and I watched like maybe 2 episodes, and I enjoyed it, but I was still kind of in that like mindset of, I just don't have the energy to deal with someone else's drama because I'm already stressed about other stuff in my life. I don't have the energy to deal with someone's fake drama.
Well, for me, I'd seen it for years because it was on for 5 seasons. I'd seen it for years, and it's like, that aesthetic is so me.
Yes, it is.
I know I should enjoy watching this, but I have not taken the plunge. And then finally I was like, okay, let me try. And I tried, and I didn't even make it through the first, this is not really a spoiler. The first episode, the first scene of the first episode is Mrs. Maisel when she gets married, and she's giving a speech at her wedding. And I did not make it all the way through the wedding speech because there was a flashback to something she did, which was so cringy for me. You know how when I watch
the embarrassment, yeah,
I get the secondhand embarrassment when I watch. As I've said often, I can't watch I Love Lucy. When I was a kid, I couldn't watch I Love Lucy because I get the secondhand embarrassment on those scenes that everybody else finds funny. I find difficult to sit through because it's just uncomfortable for me. So finally I was like, well, nobody else really in the house. It's not like I'm watching with anybody else. Nobody else in the house is interested in watching this. So I'm watching it by myself, so I could put it on mute or fast forward if they're doing something that's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
And so I managed to get through a good bit. I do pause it or put it on mute or whatever whenever Tony Shalhoub, who plays Mrs. Maisel's father, is on the screen. And I've figured out, I did not like Tony Shalhoub in Monk either.
So you just don't like that actor?
I have a feeling that I don't like him, or it's a combination of whatever roles he chooses to play are in things I don't want to watch.
That is how I feel about Will Ferrell. There's only 2 Will Ferrell movies that I can watch. I can watch Elf because I enjoyed Elf as a child, and so it has a bit more nostalgia, though I haven't watched it in a while. I haven't watched it in like years, but I know that I would be okay rewatching that movie. Elf, and then Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction, that's the same one for me. Mm-hmm. Stranger Than Fiction is the
because he plays a straight man instead of not a straight man as in not a gay man, but like not the joke.
He's not the comedy. Exactly. Yes. That's the only way I can handle Jim Carrey is in the Truman Show because he's not.
Oh, except I'm not watching the Truman Show again. You want to break my heart?
Oh, no. I'm not gonna watch it again. I'm just saying that's the only way I could handle him because he's not the comedy.
Yeah. Though he was good in the Sonic movies because he plays Eggman, Dr. Robotnik.
Well, the Sonic movies are not anything I'm gonna watch anyway.
Oh, probably not unless we make you.
But
I have not watched Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is not something I'm gonna watch either. But I can imagine he would probably be better in that simply because he's not the comedy.
Yeah.
That's. But Tony Shalhoub annoys me, and the one who plays the other father, Joel Mazel's father, the comedian, his name is Kevin something, and I can't think it. But anyway, both of his parents are like cringe to me when they're on screen. So I can barely watch them either. But I like to watch. But so far I'm enjoying it. But those are the two problems that I have I have this, there's certain actors that I don't really care for in the show, but also it's hard for me to get over that hump. I sat down one Saturday and I said I'm gonna watch it, and I binged several episodes. I managed to get through I think the first 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, okay, when I get off work, I have a little bit of time. I could go back and watch it, but no, instead I go and watch more YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is my problem too, is I think I've become too comfortable with Ari. I think you need to fast forward. I think you are not caught up, my dude. But I think I have become too comfortable with the loose short form content where I know there's not going to be probably too much stress. If there's something cringy, I can just click away to another video real quick and not there's not as much commitment. If I'm watching a YouTube video and I have to stop in the middle of the YouTube video,
feels like less commitment than watching a movie or watching a series. That's why I have all of these what's the word? That's why I have all of these things still in my Netflix queue and stuff that I have not watched. That I watched this morning. But the thing that has gotten me back into watching things, the reason I started watching Mrs. Maisel to begin with, is because the YouTube Shorts algorithm is now serving me a lot of those creators who just show you clips of interesting scenes from movies and TV shows, but they never tell you what TV show it is, which is annoying.
And you have to go look up the comments and figure out where it is.
But Mrs. Maisel already knew what Mrs. Maisel was because I recognized the actress and everything. So I see a few scenes and it's like, okay, this makes me want to go ahead and jump in and watch it.
There's one that I keep getting served, and I keep getting served this same scene, and I'll bet you know it as soon as I get this scene. As soon as I'll reenact the scene. I need to just sit down and actually watch it. I think it's a movie, maybe a show. I don't know, but you'll know the one I'm talking about as soon as I do it. Where do you go for an hour every day? I have to go to the bathroom, sir, because there ain't no colored bathrooms in this here building. And I have to sit here and work. So excuse me if I have to use the bathroom a few times a day and drink coffee out of the pot that none of y'all will touch.
Hidden Figures.
Yes,
I need to watch it. That was a good movie.
I haven't watched it. I need to just
I think that may have been the last movie that your father and I watched together, because your father and I used to watch movies a lot back when you would go and rent movies, and we would go and rent 2 or 3 movies and come home and watch them. And we stopped watching movies together. We still watch TV together, but we stopped watching movies
I got some
together
dogs.
when we stopped getting Netflix discs.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're messing up her makeup. But yeah, we stopped watching movies when we stopped getting Netflix together. When we watch Netflix discs, although I want to watch that what is it, that movie G20 with Viola Davis.
What's that? I don't think I've seen.
Viola Davis is playing the president, and she goes to the G20 summit with all the world leaders, and then these terrorists take over. Mm-hmm. But she's a president who was like some sort of elite sniper or something in the military before she became president. So she's the one who's like sneaking around and in like sneaking around the building and taking these terrorists out or whatever.
Okay.
You know, I like, I'm not big on action movies, but I like some girl power every once in a while.
I'll watch that.
And I thought that would be a good movie. It's on Prime.
Okay.
I think that would be a good movie to watch with your father. But we haven't watched a movie together in a while. But Hidden Figures we did see. And that
I need to go watch it because I keep getting fully just that same clip over and over. And I'm like, I need to watch it.
I've gotten that clip exactly once. But I've seen the movie, so many times. Okay, Lo Whaley. Do you get Lo Whaley?
What?
Lo Whaley on YouTube.
I don't know what
she does mainly shorts. She doesn't do like full videos. She does mainly shorts. But she has you know how I like the creators who do the who do story based skit series.
Yes.
And they
like Cafe Latte, Hell's Bells.
Yeah, those kind of, and they play all the parts or whatever. She does one.
Pause for sidebar. Cafe Latte is out of their hiatus, so they've posted a few new videos, so make sure you go watch those. And then also, her book is coming out in either September or October. Continue.
Okie dokie. But so Lo Whaley, she does a thing called Project Poodles, and I think she had Project Poodles, and I think she has a compilation video where you can catch up and watch all of them together instead of having to watch all the individual shorts. Mm-hmm. But it's basically about people working from home. So because she works from home, so everybody, all her different characters are like sitting in front of their computers, and she's got all the wigs and whatever. And I enjoy the series. It's like this particular team within this bigger company, and like there's this one older Southern woman, and then there's a young, snarky girl about your age, and then there's the other girl who's a little bit kind of nervous, anxiety ridden, and then there's this other woman who's like, she's very by the book. She never blinks. She talks like a robot kind of person. She's all for the company. I give all my all to the company. I do everything I can for the company. This job is my life. Yeah. But it's a cute series. I like that. And check it out. You said that you were watching I Dream of Jeannie.
I was watching I Dream of Jeannie. That is going to be on hiatus just because I've not watched any more episodes. I thought I was going to blow through it, and then I just like moved on. So I will probably circle back. But I'm realizing now that you're talking about stuff, I did watch some things in this past week. Who paused for a second? Ronald says, I finally completed the Granny A-Go-Go blanket. The giant one. Definitely put some pictures on Discord so we can see it, because I definitely want to see it. Also, how did your job interviews go, Ronald? I don't think we got any confirmation from those job interviews, so I want to know how you're doing. Making dishcloths. Dishcloths are fun, and if you're selling dishcloths, they're fun and quick. And if you're selling dishcloths, the bobble dishcloths that say bad words or have naughty pictures on them sell so well. If you're okay with that being part of your brand, because I sell the dishcloths that say like fuck this shit and like and just like bitch and like stuff like that, or like the ones with little bobble pictures of peepees and BBs on them. They sell so well every time because people buy them as gag gifts all the time. They're so fun. But I realized that I did watch some stuff. I watched all of Titan Takedown. Titan Takedown on
Yes, I
Dimension 20.
started that and I didn't finish.
It was good. As
Okay,
someone who,
Ronald's asking how you make those, so you should put a link in Discord.
yeah, keep an eye. Someone remind me in the, because I'm going to be busy today. But if someone just at me in the Project Links channel, and I will send the links, because I have links for the cuss word ones, and I think I have links for, and if I'm not mistaken, most of them are free. I think some of the ones with cuss words you have to pay for, but I think I have Ravelry links for all of them. So if you at me in the links thing on the Discord, and I will go post them there, because they're super easy. You just have to know how to do a bobble stitch, which is essentially like a double crochet, except instead of finishing the double crochet, you yarn over and go back in again, so you get extra loops. So you end up with like 6 loops on your hook, and then pull through all 6 and then continue. But the Titan Takedown was very good. I enjoyed Titan Takedown. As someone who knows next to nothing about wrestling, so I didn't know any of those people.
I don't know any of them either, even though I used to watch wrestling. Well, not even though. I'm just full stop. I used to watch wrestling as a kid, like most kids did, because we didn't have cable and that's what was on Saturday afternoon. But I as soon as I grew up and got access to cable, I abandoned that quickly. Where some people went fully into adulthood still watching wrestling. I gave up on wrestling a long time ago. But
it was a very fun watch, though. It was
I was interested in it just because, like with Dungeons and Drag Queens, I didn't really know any of those drag queens either. But it was interesting watching people who never played D&D, watching them play D&D. That was interesting to me.
You should watch it then, because out of the 4 people, one of them has played before, but I don't think has played a lot. And so the other 3 had didn't watch any actual plays on TV, like barely even knew what the game was. And so it's fun to watch them realize, like, I can do anything. But they were all interesting to watch as well, because they're so used to doing performing, wrestling performing. And I see Ronald's comments, I'm gonna read those in a second. But they're so used to doing wrestling performing. And so when it came to the parts where they were actually doing the battles, it was fun listening to them describe the fights that they were doing, and the different shenanigans and stuff. But they also they came up with some nice compelling backstories, and they really got into their characters. It was a very fun watch. It was a very, very fun watch. Let's see what Ronald says. I have an offer which I'm sitting on. It's for a job similar to my past one. I did an interview for a BG company yesterday, board game company yesterday. Won't hear back until Friday, and then I'll decide what to do. Have another interview today with a 3rd company, just in case. Yes! Sending good vibes and prayers for you. I'm glad that you're getting interviews, because I think there was a little while where they it seemed like you weren't getting interviews. So I'm glad that you're getting interviews now.
Yes, we are glad for that, and I pray that you pick whichever job is best for you.
Yes.
And that you will enjoy the best.
Yes. But I watched Titan Takedown, and then the only other thing that I watched a big chunk of was I was watching a little bit of Smosh. I have not watched any of the Smosh Reddit stories, even though I kind of want to sit down and watch them. I just kind of haven't been in the mood to start them, when you're not in the mood to start anything. But because I don't want to go back to the beginning, and then they're figuring out their format and all of that. But what I did watch on Smosh was I discovered that last year or something, Shane and Amanda played the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, played through all of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. And Shane knew about them, but hadn't played all of them. Shane, I think, had watched Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Matt Pat play them. And then Amanda knew fully nothing about them. They started playing them because on one of the Smosh Mouth podcasts, they told Amanda the plot of Five Nights at Freddy's as if it was a real thing that happened. And then they obviously explained to her no, JK, that's a video game. But then so many people in the chat were now she has to play the game. And so she played through it, and then she discovered a love for horror video games. And so now she and oh, what's the other woman's name? The one who I can't remember her name. She has like kind of a raspy voice. What is her name?
I don't know.
But you know, you watch the Smosh sometimes. You know the one I'm talking
about.
Yeah,
I watch
the short.
Smosh.
She has like the short haircut. There's Amanda who's like the darker skin who does Smosh Mouth, and then the girl with the short haircut. They now are playing through like the Resident Evil franchise because Shane is like, I have discovered that I do not like playing horror video games. It scares me to death, and I don't want to do it anymore. And so Shane is dipped out, and now Amanda and the other girl are playing Resident Evil with one of the other. I want to say his name's Kevin, but probably not. But with one of the other like young children on staff who play games.
I only watch Reddit stories on Smosh because they don't they're too
thank you, Chloe.
They're too over the top for me.
They are really over the top in a lot of their stuff.
I tried watching them playing a board game once or twice, and it's like I can't.
Thank you, Chloe. Angela and Spencer.
I can't. They are too much.
Speaking of board games, did you watch the first episode of Parlor something? The board game one.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, they played. They played a game that you wouldn't play in real life, but watching them play the game was fun. They played Wavelength.
That's on Dropout, right?
Dropout, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they played in the first episode. They played Wavelength, which is the one where it's like the big wheel.
I've seen people play Wavelength. I might play Wavelength, maybe.
Not me packing Wavelength in my suitcase for the cruise.
You don't own Wavelength.
Not yet.
Because, I mean, from what I remember, there is a definite Wavelength. Yeah, that's who I've seen play Wavelength.
Yeah, it's it's where there's like the half moon, like it's a big circle, but you spin it and then you see where the bar is, and then there's a card at the bottom that's like, one side will say should be president and the other side will say shouldn't be president, and then like if it's over here on the shouldn't be president side but not all the way, you have to like try to name somebody, like you say one thing and then they have to try to like guess where they think that falls in the thing, and if it lands in the certain points. Yeah, it's similar to there's the color game that I played on my birthday with our friends where it's similar, where there's like there's the big board of colors.
You're talking about Hues and Clues.
Yeah, Hues and Clues,
which I would not play again.
You wouldn't play Hues and Clues again, but you would play Wavelength?
Well, because Wavelength, I feel like there's a unless I'm misunderstanding how the game is played, I feel like there's a
because you don't like games where there aren't definite deciders. Like you're not going to play a Cards Against Humanity and Apples to Apples. You don't like games where there are definite deciders.
Exactly. But isn't Wavelength one of those games where like I set the slider a certain place and then you have to kind of guess?
Yeah. So okay. So say this is the slider. You spin the thing and you set it over, and it's like right here, and there's a little arrow that people can move on the slider, and so it's set right here, and you give a clue that you think will get your people in this space, and the people have to guess where you want to be based on your clue. Just go watch the episode. And we will revisit this.
But yeah, I mean, I've watched people play it briefly before, but I think there's more of a definite, this is where it's set and you have to guess it. Whereas Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity is more like we've all put this forward and one person has to decide which one they think is best.
But with Hues and Clues, there's also there is the same amount of certainty in Wavelength that there is in Hues and Clues, because in Hues and Clues, you get a color, you say something that you think is that color, and then everybody makes a guess, and then you put a block. So there's a definite color, there's a definite decider, but if you don't like Hues and Clues, I don't think you're going to like Wavelength.
Okay. Because
I
did not enjoy Hues and Clues.
If you think that you will like Wavelength, because I know that I will like Wavelength. if you think that you will like Wavelength, I will get that game and we will play it on the cruise.
No, because nobody else will play. I don't think anybody else in our group would play Wavelength.
Ari, Tyler, Chloe, Isaac,
because we pretty much have to get games for the cruise that not only we will play, but also that the aunties can play. And that's why Just Desserts is good on the cruise. Mm-hmm. Spoons we play on the cruise.
Super Mega Lucky.
Your father always wants to bring out Phase 10 on the cruise.
Phase
10. I'm trying to get a copy of Flip 7 for the cruise because I think everybody would understand Flip 7 on the cruise.
I'm trying to figure out why everyone doesn't like Hues and Clues. I like Hues and Clues a lot. Ronald says he doesn't like Hues and Clues either. Get ready for your interview. Have a good time. Good luck. We're sending good vibes and best wishes.
Good luck, Ronald. But my only other thing is that we watched Maths. We finally finished Maths.
Ooh, how was that?
I enjoyed watching that with my daughter, and we had a good bonding time. These people were trashy AF, but I feel like I got enough. Thanks, Ronald. We
Thank you, Ronald.
it. But I feel like, kind of like with salad, where it's like, I don't hate salad, but I can eat 1 or 2 salads and then I don't need to taste salad again for another month.
Yes.
That's how I feel about reality shows, especially dating shows. Now, the competition shows, I'm good. Your father and I love a cooking show. Or some other, we watch the wilderness competition shows where they're out in the woods trying to. We just finished watching Extracted.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that one.
Yeah, we just finished watching Extracted. So we love the wilderness competition shows or the cooking shows. But, and we just finished watching the last season of The Great Pottery Throwdown. For some reason, we love that. I don't know why. Even though your father complains every year, they don't win a money prize. Why is there no money prize?
Because that's not what UK game shows are about.
I know. And Chloe is saying they're still being wild on TikTok. I don't follow
people from Married at First Sight.
Yeah, I don't follow any of the Maths people on TikTok, so I'm not on that side of TikTok. But yeah, I'm good with reality shows for another. I'll be glad to get back to the musicals or whatever.
Speaking of watching reality shows, this is very adjacent.
It's already 12:30, so we've got to get out of here.
Where did my alarm go? What happened to my 12:15 alarm?
I don't know.
That never went off. So I guess we're not talking about any. We'll talk about some shower thoughts next week. So this is, I guess, the last thing I'm going to say. Let me turn on the rock music. Where's my mouse? Okay, everybody get ready to have your ears blown out. Okay. But I've been watching a lot of Dropout, and apparently the entire Dropout cast watches Real Housewives because they reference Real Housewives all the time. Like, so often they'll reference.
Everybody watches Real Housewives but us. Do you not know that?
I didn't realize that so much of the population was watching this show.
I watched like the first either 1 or 2 seasons. And when I say first, I mean first. Way back 10, 15 years ago. First 2 seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and then that was it. I was done.
But what is the show? Because them talking about it all the time makes me want to watch it and see these crazy people.
The whole purpose of the different franchises is that these different women are married to men who make enough money, or at least that was the premise in the beginning. It's kind of branched out from them, but the basic premise is that they're married to men so they don't have to work. So they all live in fancy places like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Real Housewives of Potomac. They live in fancy places, and they have staff and whatever, and so they're in society, and so they meet to, very much these are the ladies who lunch.
So this is just a show about what happens when rich people have too much time on their hands?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because, like, I was like, I've seen, like, because what I was picturing was like when I watch Long Island Medium, where we're like just watching her go about her life. But one of the biggest draws about Long Island Medium is that she's a medium, and so it's like watching the Long Island Medium, but without the medium part. But I guess that interest is replaced by I have billions and billions of dollars.
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically, we're rich ladies and we live in Beverly Hills, so we're going to buy. I don't know what kind of phone call she's taking. This rock music, this is awful. This is awful. Fuzz buzz. This is awful rock music.
Yeah, I will switch this one. I thought I had switched it out here. Let me switch it.
This is
right
awful
now.
rock music.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. I had another one. Do I have the other one in here? No, I never put the other one in here. So I need to get rid of the Fuzz Buzz and add a different one in here. Because I have it downloaded on my computer. I just need to... Let's switch back to, instead of the Fuzz Buzz, let's just switch back to the Busy City.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, because none of the rock music is as good as the rock music that we had when we were on the old service.
I know. That's awful.
And that call was fully nothing. That was just Wayne reminding me to turn off the coffee maker so we don't have a bunch of burnt coffee and burn our house down when I leave.
Yes, turn the coffee off.
I think it's time for us to get out of here.
It is time for us to get out of here. It's time for you to do the outro.
If you liked everything, let me tilt it up because I'm not knitting anymore. If you liked everything, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you want to know when we go live, hit the notification bell so that it'll alert you when we're live, so you can come into the chat and talk with all of the people. Are there chats over here? What are the words over here being said? Outro interrupted. Yes, outro interrupted. And leave a comment. Leave a comment about which season of Real Housewives I should start with.
None. How about none?
Leave a comment about which season of Real Housewives I should start with, or I got nothing else. That's the only thing I got. I think we're out of here.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Ending.